Another video here on this channel. I am joined today by a guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Live from my mother's basement, it's Johnny, and we're back with another one. Thanks, Mikey, for having me.
No problem. Today's video, we're going to go through the roster of AEW, and we're going to play, would Mike keep him on the roster, or would he fire him?
This is going to be fun.
All right. You got the roster page pulled up there?
I do. In fact,
all right, let's do it.
Are we looking at men's first?
Yeah, let's go
what I
men's
see.
first.
All right.
Since they get featured way more on AEW television.
Do we have the same list?
I don't have a list. I'm just going off your list.
Oh, that's the one I sent you? Then it should be the same list. Yeah, all right. So there's Aaron Solo. You going to keep him?
Who?
Aaron Solo. Is that who you...
He's gone.
He's gone. Action Andretti from Top Flight.
ROH.
You're going to send him to ROH?
Yep.
All right. Adam Cole, baby.
Oh, I'm keeping Cole around, but, you know, he needs to get uninjured.
I couldn't agree more.
It'd be really nice for him to work a whole storyline.
Right? How about the rated R superstar? Would you keep him?
Of course I would keep Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland has always been my guy, and Adam Copeland, I feel like, is what CM Punk was supposed to be for AEW. The veteran who comes in and makes the other guys look good and works with the younger talent. But Punk, you know, wasn't that guy. At least for that company.
If your boy Edge can't stay uninjured, I don't know if he's that guy either, but, you know, not many 50-year-olds need to be going off the top of a cage through a table nowadays either.
That's fair.
Smarter, not harder, baby. What would you do with Hangman? You like Adam Page? Are you a fan?
I'd keep him.
Alright.
I'd maybe end this thing with Swerve and maybe get him into a new storyline, but that's the only real complaint I have there.
What do you think about, I don't even know how to fucking say half of these, Alex Abrahantes? I think that's how you say it.
I don't know who that is.
It's the guy under Aaron Solo. That's what I know him as.
Okay.
Here's somebody I actually know, because I followed him in the Indies for a little bit, was Alex Reynolds. What do you think about him?
I have not seen any of his work.
Best friend Alex? Nope. All right.
Nope.
We'll move on to the next one. It says Spanish Announce Project Angelico. I don't know how. I've never seen this guy before.
We probably can move him to ROH then.
All right. About Angelo Parker.
Before we go any further, let me advocate. Moving people to ROH is them still keeping their job. It's not us firing them. Because I don't think anybody deserves to be straight up fired. There's exception to that. But, I just wanted to make that clear first.
I think you and I might be of a similar mindset. Maybe we haven't explained this to, people that used to watch us might get this, but we're kind of older school heads, right? We're going to think, what is going to help this company feature younger people? And as long as we can keep that the mission, I think that's where we're both kind of aligned with this, right?
Right. I think you need to have a few grizzled vets in there, but then you need to be pushing that young talent also.
Well, that's the vision, right? And that's like, you keep hiring either names that don't do it for you, or people whose ego isn't going to allow them to do it for you, or whatever the case may be. You got to get back to the mission that started the whole thing, that made it more renegade and more, exciting.
Well, what I feel AEW fails on is the fact that they have all these wrestlers and different styles of wrestling. You have 3 TV shows. You could have each TV show feel like a completely different experience for the fan.
Yep.
Honestly, if I was Tony, I'd go, hey, Young Bucks, you're in charge of Collision. Hey, Omega, you're in charge of Rampage, and Tony Khan takes over just Dynamite. Give them a roster of wrestlers that you can swap every once in a while, whatever, I just think that if you had 3 different guys running 3 different shows, you'd have 3 different feels to how things are done. Agree? Disagree?
I I'll go with you on that. I think. Did you show off your tweet at all? Do you want to try to?
No, I did not.
Let's go into detail with that a little. Let's backtrack because there was this thing that happened, and I know that you followed up with this and all. But can you just read it? What your idea was? Because I thought it was really well done. And, I
said step one, I'd fire 40% of the roster. This would include talent that think they're bigger than the brand, such as Monet, the Young Bucks, Jericho.
Oh, God, please. I don't even know anymore what he's doing.
And I also included Ricochet on that list, and I got a little backlash on that because he just got there. But if you've seen the way that Ricochet's been carrying himself on X since he left WWE, and just kind of his entire attitude, it feels like he thinks he's a bigger deal than he is. But then my second step was, I don't even remember what it was. You've got it there, probably. Maybe.
Where? I don't remember.
In your chat?
In the chat.
In your Facebook chat?
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking at the roster right now. I don't see it anymore. My bad. Okay, so main point. You were going to scale down that roster, and you were going to put it back to more or less making shows and every other thing that you do and invest in that time
hire
and
writers.
that TV, whatever. Make it feel different, right? You were trying to do
hire writers. And then my idea of the 3 separate shows feeling different is an idea I think very soon we're going to see with WWE, because with Raw moving to Netflix, I feel like that's going to be the adult show. And you're going to have your upcoming stars, which are NXT, and then you're going to have SmackDown, which is going to be your more family-friendly show.
I can see that if they're still keeping that to more network or whatever, right?
USA is going to have SmackDown, so...
Wait. Were they on there? Haven't kept
They
track
just moved to USA like last week or something like that.
Okay.
It was on Sci-Fi, but now it's moving to USA or something like that. I also should reiterate, I only watch pay-per-views and clips online. I don't watch full shows anymore.
Who has time for 9,000 hours of weekly wrestling? We were complaining about this in 2014, Mike. We were complaining about this in 2014. It's 10 years later, and they've got more wrestling. How the fuck? Anyway.
Well, to be fair, there's a lot more content in general nowadays with all the streaming services, so...
Yeah.
Nobody goes back and rewatches stuff anymore because there's no time because the next thing always comes out.
That's true. It's true enough, yeah. I mean, not just for even just the single guys out there, but for you and me alike, who used to be part of either bigger channels or bigger communities in general, trying to get multiple people together for multiple Sundays. If it's figure there's at least 2 companies you want to see a pay-per-view event from in a month. How the hell do you have the time and keep track of those people? And you're gonna get 4 hours together to sit down for a...
Well, I mean, I'm still pretty lucky. For like the big 4 pay-per-views, I still get Mark, Dwayne, my friend Galen's wife, Metal D, sometimes Tony, and then Alicia and I. So,
I mean, you're doing far better than I am.
Like our Mania party, like we had even 2 people who'd never watched wrestling with us before come over and watch wrestling.
That's neat as hell. No, I like that. I'll just tell you.
Oh yeah, we still treat it all big. We just don't have Jeff around, and Tony's busy sometimes with his family, and I understand that.
Right.
Plus, he lives like a half an hour away, so it's easier to him watch it at home. Because we're not gonna sit down and film a review right afterwards like we used to.
One of the favorite things that I've still been doing is just going to like the high school gymnasium kind of the local boys shows up here. They got like an hour and a half away. They got a wrestling school up here in like Amsterdam, New York. It's where one of the old Pro Wrestling Hall of Fames is, or used to be. I don't know if they moved it or not. It's a weird time even now because like I'll go to an event with my guy, but then like trying to get together and even like recap it is too much, But
definitely.
You go to an hour and a half event and then you drive home and you're like, well, that's going to be it for me for a month. I got no energy anymore as a 40-year-old dude.
That was enough people for me for a month.
Now, I think maybe we could bring up the fact that we started out, we were going through a couple of names, and we soonly found out that, like, let's go over. There's a culture problem in AEW. I think also is what this has been like reflective of to me, at least, is that, and it's not just online, it's not just fanboys from WWE giving shit. It's a lot of people in the business are just looking over there at what they're doing, and they're saying, hey, this is real, like, WCW vibes of nothing, nobody knows what's going on backstage, no control, whatever. And I think there's people that want to, there's people that want to put that work in and would love to see it go somewhere, and then there's other people that are just hanging on to that ship for as long as it's paying them with that quote-unquote Turner money. Like, I see it all over again. History, it doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes, is what I find.
I mean, for the fact that, like, you and I both are sick of Jericho.
Yeah.
He's earning that paycheck. He shows up every week.
Yeah.
Nobody wants him there, but he shows up every week. Can't Fozzy put out, like, a new album, go on tour for a while?
Yeah, right. Well, the funniest thing to me, all right, so I was following a lot of different clips on Instagram and keeping up with stuff like that, and doing, like, daily rewinds and just following like that. I don't have television. I don't watch weekly shows. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. But every time there'd be, like, pay-per-view, every time there'd be AEW coming into town, like, they came to Albany for one of their shows not terribly long ago, and my buddy and I went to one of those events. It was really fun. They went to the old, I don't even know what you guys would have known it from. Back in the Attitude Era, it was called the Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York, and Triple H couldn't pronounce it. He goes, Albany! And everybody was like, what? Who the fuck are you? Connecticut ass out of here.
And, like, the troll in me wants to be like, how was the attendance? But,
Oh, the AEW attendance?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the upper, the third, whatever tier was all taped off like it normally would be for any event. Not even WWE runs that whole arena.
Right.
Because the Albany Arena, mind you, is still used for they'll put like hockey games in there, they'll put monster trucks in there. Like, it's a big fucking arena, right? So if you're trying to get like a local show in there, if you're not WWE, you're not going to draw WWE numbers. But Albany is still a wrestling town, and it's still filled up when I went. But that was probably 2 years ago at this point now, I imagine, right? Like,
See,
the
there
better
was an
place.
AEW show here in Des Moines. I didn't go. Mark and Dwayne did, but I wish I had, because MJF came back. But oh well.
I find a lot of this, again, I talked about the history rhyming, not necessarily repeating, but they used to do this with TNA all the time. They used to talk about how TNA could get like a crowd of 3 people and then have to tape it off to make it look like it's 300. I remember when they were doing that with SmackDown back in, I don't know what year, 2000 and like
2010, 2011, that was definitely still happening. Like, there was a lot of...
I was living in Missouri at the time. I went to a house show at one of the colleges. There were 110 people. It looked like it was no different than if it was a high school gymnasium. It was just out of college in Missouri. I'm like, all right, whatever, it's WWE. I got to see Shelton Benjamin when he was doing his gold standard shtick, and he fought, I remember he fought R-Truth in this dead center of the ring. He had him in a headlock, and he was like, I got him, guys, don't worry.
Yeah, I got to see Cody when he was doing the disfigured Cody Rhodes.
Mask?
Yeah, because people ringed into him out at Shields because he was up there buying another mask.
Yeah. That was around the time when he did the white belt, too, right? When he re-debuted it, or no? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember that shit. That was around 2011.
Yep. Back when we thought that was the shit days of wrestling, and then we kept going, and it got really, really bad for a while.
I mean, you guys kept going. I think in about 2014, I completely unplugged out of WWE for a while. I think I remember the event that it was, I think SummerSlam, when Brock Lesnar and Triple H fought. I said, I am fucking done. I'm out of here. This is terrible. I don't want to do it anymore. And I took a break. And it was the best thing for me, honestly, to recharge.
See, cutting it down to just the pay-per-views was like the best thing for me.
Yeah, to stop trying to review it, to stop trying to do the hours and hours and hours long shows, just trying to stay awake was a struggle. 3 hours? Like, Triple H always hated 3-hour Raw. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the only reason they do it is because of the
It's
advertisers.
because of the dollars, yeah. And none of the talent likes it. They're like, dude, I'm gonna sleep by the end of the show. What do you mean?
And it's not like you're featuring anybody new, really. That
The
I
same
mean,
people show
I
up
mean,
at
it's
the
a
top of
little
the
bit
hour.
better nowadays, but like you've still got a huge roster you're not featuring.
That's a lot of the problem I have with even like when the NXT or any of the other shit comes to town. It's like, cool, they'll be great and they'll be popular here in Poughkeepsie, but then you bring them up to a main roster and you literally just don't do anything with these guys. You just let them stagnate, or they get like a. Let me give you one of the last things I ever watched and got pissed off at. You remember when Braun Strowman debuted and he was supposed to be this huge fucking deal, and like he got like a little bit of heat under him, and then like they got super nervous and like started to pull back like they normally fucking do. And I went, why would anybody get invested in this guy ever again? You're doing the same Vince McMahon bullshit.
Well, like just recently they had Braun. Is it Braun Breaker? No, it's Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed took out Braun Strowman on a car and blah blah blah. It was a big thing.
Okay.
So Bronson Reed tested positive for COVID, so he wasn't able to be in the match he was scheduled for on Monday.
Okay.
His replacement was Braun Strowman. How am I supposed to believe that last week he just went through a freaking car and this week he's okay?
The same way that, Vince McMahon blows up in a limo and the next week he's back and it's cool. Like, whatever, it's wrestling. Like, we're thinking about it too much. We have eyes and we have memories, and
Right,
the internet generation nowadays with their smartphone
You've also
can't keep up.
ruined Bronson Reed now because you were trying to make him look like this big monster destroying people, and now he's
Now he's tapping out to a cough. Like,
Yep.
I don't know.
I
Not
mean,
that
I
COVID
hope he
isn't
gets
real.
better.
I,
Alright, you going through this roster more?
let's kill this roster, dude. I see you lit up already. I wish I had some. Let's talk about one of the acclaimed. Let's talk about Anthony Bound. I like this guy. I think I'd keep him.
I like the Acclaimed. I wouldn't have them on the main show. They'd be my collision act.
You know what I would do? Here's an idea for you. I'd make one of those shows a tag team show. That's it.
I don't think you can do all tag team.
I have to do all, but I would do like most.
Yeah, one that's more focused on tag teams.
1,000%, because then you could have one that's set for like one-on-one interviews with people instead, and do a different kind of dynamic on that shit. One could be matches, one could be backstage, one could be God knows what, but you have to differentiate it somehow.
That could be your collision. There you go.
And you say that you want to get like
The
you
Young
said,
Bucks?
writers. You said you want to hire people that do like the videos. Like, do you remember when people used to do vignettes? They used to have like the backstage, whatever. Like 2-3 weeks before somebody would debut, they'd have the video packages. You wouldn't even have interviews, or maybe you'd have like somebody in the back would, be given a talk about something else, and they'd interrupt them, and they'd see something dealing with the guy, and it would be like, oh, back after the break, whatever. It'd be like fucking like, I don't know, Undertaker's fucking symbol in the back for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Like, they don't do that shit anymore. There's no like, okay, so the thing with wrestling, right? And the thing is, in order to get the pay-per-view buys, you want to generate the foreplay in the dude's mind to be like, yeah, I want to see that. There's none of that anymore.
Right?
There's no
You gotta
build-up.
generate the heat. Make me want to watch it.
Dusty Rhodes used to
This
be
guy
able
looks
to
cool. He's
talk me
coming
into
in. Blah,
buying
blah,
a
blah.
pay-per-view.
I've heard about him.
Right.
I mean, they did one for Hologram and whatever in AEW, and I mean, you can film cool shit.
Look, anybody can film cool shit, though. The Hardys did it in their backyard in TNA and fucking revolutionized the whatever that match was, even. Do you know what I mean?
Right?
Like,
The compound matches?
yeah, like, what the fuck? It was brilliant, but it was in their backyard with the drone.
Exactly.
And he did a thing out of a tree. Like, come on!
And the mower of lawns.
The best thing about Broken Matt Hardy was every time he was throwing his brother back in the river, bringing him back, he was a new Hardy.
Character of Jeff Hardy.
Can we not do that again to AEW? Just put it underwater for a little bit and bring it up and see if it comes. Get that cocaine out of Tony's system for 10 minutes.
I don't know. I always thought it was dangerous with the fact that you made some of your top stars EVPs in the first place. I thought that was a bad decision.
all that said to me was that he was afraid people were going to leave immediately after it started. And the only way to bind him down was to give him that creative control. And then, again, it's just the WCW vibes all over again, right? Like, I met the Young Bucks in the beginning of their career at FWE in Jamaica, Queens, okay? I took the train down. They were nobody. Like, I mean, they were in Japan, but, like, nobody knew who they were.
Right.
And I supported them from the beginning. I supported them at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. I supported them all over wherever. And then they started going places. They were doing, like, the Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore events, and they were selling that out all the time. And they got huge. And I respect that. And I kept seeing them at, like, they would always do the New England Pro Wrestling Under the Stars up here. They were in big with them for a few years. They fought the Hardys there for one of their matches. Like, they just kept going up. And then they went over to Japan, and it started, like, taking off. And, like, I get it. And, like, you think that, like, you want to bring a creative, more whatever thing. But as soon as Cody left AEW, like, what? That whole thing should have just... Like, let's put somebody else, like, in charge, and let's let these guys wrestle. Because, like, if you're not going to have the Young Bucks wrestle, why are they there?
Right.
Why are they there?
Because all they are is kick and flip guys, and what else are they bringing to your company for you?
Well, they don't have, like, the leverage that, like, see, they're trying to act in the position that, like, Nash was in 99 or 98 or whatever the hell they did the Goldberg thing. Because that's what it seems like to me. In my head, I'm like, who's booking this thing? Like, literally, the guy at the top is protecting whatever thing. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't seem... It's like if you got Disco Inferno, Glenn Gilberti booked the whole show. Like, all right, but why?
Right.
Like, when you've got, like, let's say, Mark Henry and Arn Anderson and, like, other people back there, but you're going to give it the dipshit up here? Like, why? I don't... Hang on.
I mean... I appreciate the fact that they finally put Swerve in the main event and gave him the belt and everything, but I even feel like his championship, they haven't even treated him like he's the main attraction of the show.
He's not the champ anymore.
True.
They just took it off him with that, injury-prone Daniel Bryan end of my career guy. Like, well, how come
right,
you're just
but I'm just saying, his whole time he had the belt, he wasn't even featured as, like, the biggest draw on the show,
No, they
I hear more about
some
Jack
other
Perry bullshit going on and Tony Storm and all that stuff, you know?
I honestly, here I'm going to give AEW a bunch of pass and a bunch of praise right now. The Tony Storm, Mariah May angle and all that shit, I think that's been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about as far as I'm going to go.
I wouldn't have hired Monet.
What is the point of that besides just having a name that somebody might tune into your thing for 2 seconds? It doesn't do anything for you. It's not keeping eyeballs. She's not involved in anything meaningful. You're a double champion somehow. You get 2 belts. You don't... What? Come on.
Yeah. She's there for the money and to try and springboard into probably doing movies or something.
I guarantee she's trying to do a Rock, I want to be Hollywood, whatever, and this is I get paid at this much now so I can put it on a resume later kind of deal. Like, it doesn't seem authentic. It seems forced, and honestly, you want to hear a unpopular take? She wasn't that great in WWE enough for all the fucking money that she thinks that she's worth now. I'm sorry.
Plus, I feel Naomi was the bigger star out of the two of them.
The company made her a big deal and treated her like a big deal. And then she started thinking she was the big deal, and now she's trying to still carry herself like she's the big deal.
I mean, how many times did Sasha, like, just disappear from TV for a while and you heard it was because she was being difficult to work with or something?
How many times did her and Bailey have to be friends, not friends, friends, not friends, for anybody to not care anymore? Like,
it's about the same as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Oh, right. Yeah, the other, or the Usos. For the 900th time, again. Because we break up and put together and break up and put together and break it as it serves us instead of actually having a fucking idea of what to do with these people. What would you do with, where's this other? Anthony Agogo is, he says we're part of Shane Taylor. I don't even know what a Shane Taylor Promotions is, brother.
Nope.
Is that another guy? Is that a manager?
It must be.
What is that?
I don't know. Let's keep going to people we maybe know.
I don't know who AR Fox is, but I know who Daivari is. He should be a trainer, though. I didn't think he was... Right? the same Daivari?
Yeah.
He lost a tooth at one of the events I went to, a House of Hardcore. He fought that Crowbar guy from WCW. Remember David Flair and Crowbar? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he big booted him so hard in the mouth. I saw the tooth go. I saw the blood. How about Austin Gunn? Do you like that guy from the Bang Bang Gang? I think he's alright.
Yeah, he's okay.
Bandito, I don't know anything about you. Big Bill. This guy got canned because he got hurt at WWE, and then...
And drunk.
Right. I don't know what he's doing here, other than just existing on the roster. You've got Billy Gunn, who looks like he's in better shape.
I feel like the problem with Big Bill / Big Cass is that he needs a mouthpiece, and he just needs to be a security guy. Whenever he has a microphone, he's gotten better, but still, it's not where it needs to be.
So, Big Bill, here's the thing. If they would do with Big Bill what they did with Scott Flash Norton when he joined the NWO and be an enforcer and be a big powerhouse, I'm fucking whatever. Like, turn him into Powerhouse Hobbs, where he doesn't talk.
I feel like he's just going to become a guy like Big Show.
I don't think he'll ever become anything like that, because in 2 more years he's going to get himself hurt again somehow, because they don't have people in there that work his bigger style. They have a bunch of smaller guys for him to try to keep up with, and he's only going to get older.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, that's this. The problem with AEW, again, is a culture problem. You don't know what you are. And you've got all these younger talents, and then you've got, like, big power guys that try to keep up with them, too. Like, you're not signing Brock Lesnar to fight these young guys.
And that's where Rampage comes in. That'd be our show where we put cruiserweights versus giants, or big guys versus big guys.
Right. Okay.
And then our main show would have, like, say, Daniel Bryan, Swerve, Hangman, MJF, Britt Baker, Tony Storm.
Right.
You know, where the main show already pretty much is. Like, the main show isn't the problem, it's the other 2 shows, honestly. Because you're featuring people that should be on your main show on those shows instead of featuring people that you are paying to sit at home, essentially.
It's all disorganized. I would love to go into greater detail sometime and know more about some of this roster so I could do something with them, you know, kind of go behind the scenes. But that would take hours worth of research. And again, if I can't follow the product as much, I don't have time to go into fantasy book this shit. We're just trying
I don't know, I might go to the trouble of looking at the roster and I'll, like, put where I'd put people on each show, but that would be about as far as I'd be willing to go.
I think I'm with you, though. As far as a couple of these names, I don't know. They don't get TV time. Even if they do, I don't feel like it's showcasing what you can even do with them. It more or less, we fit these guys into a pattern or a typecast, and they're just kind of existing.
Well, it looks like we've got about... Remaining meeting time is 9 minutes and 48 seconds.
We've got through none of these ladies yet. Let's go to the ladies real quick. Is there anybody on this ladies list besides? I mean, we already talked about how Monet is kind of a problem, but is there anybody here besides, I'm looking at Karen Jarrett? Why are you there on that roster? Who would you immediately get rid of? I'm a horse with oots.
I don't know. Here's the problem. I haven't seen a lot of the women's division on AEW. Like, that's the main problem.
Yeah, that's also true.
Because nobody's uploading those clips to X for me to watch. They're not being featured on the pay-per-views.
Well, I mean, they continue to feature Saraya instead of actually somebody that's, you know, coming up. That doesn't help anything.
Somebody who I think should have just left the business when they left WWE or gone back home to her father's promotion. And I'm not saying that ill-spirited. I just feel like the end of your WWE run kind of was shit, and it wasn't necessarily her fault. I'll put blame on Alberto Del Rio also, and Brad Maddox and Xavier Wood. But, like, the last part of her career, she probably should have just taken some time off and gone home for a bit.
I think a lot of the things that we're seeing now are a lot of fatigue from fans, from people that might not have been used right, and then, you know, they just kind of, well, I liked them, 10 years ago. They could really still do something.
Another thing, like, everybody was so happy that, like, Claudio Castielli or whatever was going over to AEW because he'd be used right finally. Never see him.
Well, isn't he in ROH? I don't even think he's on the other show, right?
Oh,
Not anymore.
maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm not watching the right show.
I mean, at one point,
I know he was at Wembley in the ladders match, and I saw that.
he's a
but-
trios guy, right? Maybe
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's in the trios.
Okay. I'm looking at some of these women, dude. I haven't seen any of these people even on their social media be advertised in how long? Like, you have how many of these ladies? I mean, I'm sure they don't pay them hardly squat, but
Well, here, let's wrap it up for this time, and we'll continue this again some other time.
yeah, we can definitely take a crack at who else we could do this with, man. It was good talking to you, Mike. I hope that other people will chime in on this. Help us out here. Take over for us.
Let's
Do a
save
fantasy.
AEW.
All right, brother.
Later.